Odipo guda lego gurbaro lenge timo wanandi no. Oh.
Barikiwa studio.
Yelelele mina tiempo. Yelelele jawaya. Yelelele nyapani jobilo. Pija koma kumbuyo kama. Athumbuyo kama. Ane unduwe mamine jotumbe. Ane unduwe mamine jawaya. Ane jango mama mino chinginda. Ane jawaya mamino chinginda. Ane jawaya mamino koto dejo. Kindo jawaya mamino koto dejo. Ane jawaya mamina chinginya wasi. Ane jango mamina chinginya wasi. Ane jango mamina chalguda wendo. Ane ungue mamina chalguda wendo. Ane jango mamino kotkaeli. Ane ungue mamino rubi kijana mudo. Ane ungue mamina rubi kijana mudo. Jango mamako banjo angi sababu. Jango mamako thum angi sababu. Jango mamako thum angi sababu. Ane jawayo mako ayo angi sababu. Luo kichikiti monda pimnuye. Oganda kuchikiti monda pimnuye. Oganda luo kuchikiti monda pimnuye. Luo kuchikiti monda pimnuye. Ano kago thum na pimge ngato jawa. O kago thum na pimge ngato. Nagoyo banjo na. Namoro ganda luo gi fan mamaga. Ago banjo na. Namoro ganda luo gi fan mamaga. Penyu mange ma. Ano kago thum na pimge ngato. O kago thum na pimge ngato. Anago banjo na. Namoro ganda luo gi fan mamaga. Anago banjo. Namoro ganda luo gi fan mamaga. Penyu mange ma. Ene kamano. Ana winjo ngero moro. Awinjo ngero. Joluo winjo ngero moro. Awinjo ngero. Oganda winjo ngero moro. Awinjo ngero moro. Lito dada winjo ngero moro. Solomon atita winjo ngero moro. Odira beti winjo ngero moro. Mera penyal japunja winjo ngero moro. Silvia police manyaka winjo ngero moro. Budo tingo Jacinta manyaka winjo ngero moro. Ana winjo ngero moro. Odira beti winjo ngero. Oguyo minisela winjo ngero. Ngero. Oguyo minisela winjo ngero. Ruta chinginya jojimo ngero moro. Aruta winjo ngero moro. Pinyaka atoka ngato nigi pokne. Tupinyaka ngato ka ngato nigi pokne. Adiera ng'ami puonjo nyalo jari koseko ng'eyo. Ng'ami puonjo nyalo jari koseko ng'eyo. Ng'amo miyo chiemo bende nyalo yanyi kochiemo yien. Ng'ami miyo chiemo bende nyalo yanyi kochiemo yien. Adiera wang' mithiedho nyalo gawi. Adiera wang' mithiedho nyalo gawi. Nyaka tielo mithiedho nyalo gui. Ana winjo ngero moro. Awinjo ngero moro. Joluo winjo ngero moro. Awinjo ngero moro. Ajuma winjo ngero moro. Oluocha winjo ngero moro. ole apa winjo ngera mora kamano Pinyika kiri chawadu Pinyika kiri nyirwadu Bedni somo kiri chawadu Bedni nego kiri chawadu Bedni onge go kiri chamata piny mangima In mi chayo japung In mi nyero japung In mi anyo japung To in mi anyo japung In mi anyo japung Tiyunge kata ndega yuwuotho ka Lwanda In mi anyo japung In mi anyo jangom Ianyo jalamo nango In mi anyo pija Tiyunge kata ndega yuwuotho ka Lwanda Akiani be uwinjo wachne In mi anyo japung Ijoke anyo japung In mi anyo jango In mi anyo japung Tiyunge kata oti nindo ka winyo Ijoke anyo japung In mi nyero jango In mi anyo japung Ijoke anyo japung In mi anyo japung Tiyunge kata oti nindo ka winyo In mi anyo japung Ijoke anyo jabanjo Ianyo pija nango In mi nyero japung Tungin mi anyo pija Ianyo pija nango Tiyunge kata dhako ichiemo kabiye Babi In mi anyo japung Ianyo pija nango In mi anyo jalam Ianyo pija nango In mi anyo japung Tiyunge kata dhako ichiemo kabiye In mi anyo dipo Ianyo dipo nango Ianyo gudu baroleng Odipo nigi chiege winjo maber Ianyo dhiambo nango In mi anyo dhiambo
Orders. Let them
Ianyo
come.
racha
You
nango
will find them
Oracha nigi
already.
chiege winjo
Our
mayo
spears are sharp.
Ianyo jim toto In mi anyo jim toto Ajim nigi dua winjo maber Ianyo dindo nango In mi anyo dindo Udhindo pidho ruethe nyiedho mayom Ianyo pija nango In mi anyo pija Upijo ya okambi winjo maber In mi anyo japung Ianyo japung nango Inyero jabanyo nango Ianyo japung nango Japung nigi chiege winjo maber In mi anyo pija Ianyo ema nango In mi anyo ema Emo ya okambi winjo maber In mi anyo pija In mi anyo japung Ijoke anyo japung nango In mi anyo pija Upijo gero udi choke rent Obadi Nyasa chiel kino nega Kepinyi kang kiri anyo wadu Bedni somo kiri anyo wadu Bedni riek kiri anyo wadu Bedni fuo kiri anyo wadu Bedni neno pesa mbili kiri anyo wadu Kepinyi ka kiri anyo wadu Kepinyi ka kiri nyer ngato Kepinyi ka kiri jaro wadu Gik mapinyi dong e piny Gik mapinyi waneno Gik mapinyi ka waneno Waneno gikendo gikalo Would Phoebe
Barikiwa Studio.
Kawuna chugu siepena joma tiyo matek, ugudi nyara engineer, ugui matiyo matek, nyaka jujwa monje, osiepna tiyo matek, Deniso ching kui mangongo, joma tiyo matek, Joniso duol osiepna, mango joma tiyo matek, Ugisu buda kala, matego joma tiyo matek, nyaka dada Mary Paul, nyaka madam mama Mary Paul, joma tiyo matek, atino manyawe yoma, mago joma tiyo matek, atino manyawe yoma, nyiri matiyo matek, Agnes nyaro racha, chief tiyo matek, mapili ubonya tike, joma tiyo matek, uma juala, atego mago joma tiyo matek, upudo lima ui mango, joma tiyo matek, ngumba molo japuonj, atego joma tiyo matek, eriko ile ui mango, siepna matiyo. Luo nigi mare, simbi nyaima min jara tenge nora okara chuonyo, olimbe nam dereo kanyam godo wono bare no duoko rombe na, migori yosuna kamanoru megi wode, uleme god remoni luo wako kingi, aleluya luo noritu piningema. Dalo memba kutgalwea umureo obanga jake na tungo yira tungo ranya kwaro dalo memba kutgalwea umureo ni mayenye imupogo nyinge kale tulo bano ngelo rengo kendo ume ogodo de mabe ni mayenye imupogo nyinge kale tulo bano ninde bade kendo uyodo mwandu taje ane matumu na lamuna gikwere na jogo akarayo chiki na iti mondi kiwe na wundi ane matumu na lamuna gikwere na jogo akarayo ngatuga mudo tinga wurilu nyandika ane malo toga gibanyu kuru kachu beru mus tomu wakela dimba mamere miela nyandika ane malo toga gibanyu kuru kachu beru mus tomu wakela dimba mamere miela Aver sido mamuala pura kitaro akoyato puro achamo ngege wanido mabe Naver sido mamuala pura kitaro akoyato puro achamo ngege kopeo korea Anekara jogo kinyo pila wuro kwaro teroro emudo karewa muro pulo tongego yangano Anekara jogo kinyo pila wuro kwaro teroro emudo Achamo rombo go peo korea Ane mageke nego ya sama chako to Manieno achango ngato ne mulo buru to luongo nyinga Ane mageke nego ya sama chako to Manieno achango ngato lamo jandiwa kumulu kumoro Akwangu joko maido gi udhi ataro joku buro loyo Ngato machamo luche tulao nango Akwangu joko maido gi udhi ataro joku buro loyo Ngato mawira to ketho do Ondigi mini jajo Rom kodi Mana panguno dulo dirego mina kech bad yuliero to chogo ule ja choko Mwada teki uyisude kagu gida banya Kaika manyir buru keo gimi goma Ugango gangla lea lea Tianye mamera veri ni nego ni kiwero jatelo nyaka
moro luwa adoko tianyi mamera veri nie nego ne kiro jatelo nyaka wanono mondi ka juye Obama rote makude kini mbesene jo viviye waya seche malugo nyinge to mere miela Obama rote makude kini mbesene jo viviye waya seche matalo nyinge Katengo wuoko godiero tung nyakwar saro tamo wango bwana sama gidhumo dhogi to bama nyero Katengo tamo ruodhi matiyo kadikitete pinyi en marwa ng'at marito piny pinye mayere Obama wuoko godiero tung nyakwar saro jogi wiye waya sama gidhumo dhogi to bama nyero Obama kwero ruodhi matiyo kadikitete pinyi en marwa ng'at marito piny pinye mayere Obama tamo ruodhi matiyo kadikitete pinyi en marwa ng'at marito piny pinye mayere Arawa tamo ruodhi matiyo kachuno piny pinyi en marwa seche mitiyo piny pinye mayere Apenjo wach makenjo kama yande chendo dubiro nade Apenjo wach mokwambe loch Apenjo wach makenjo kama yande chendo dubiro nade Orengo jimu wapenji kagunyama yanga jidoda kuru Amoro tiga wapenji ka omino kuru jidobedo nade Apenjo wach makenjo kama yande chendo kabimbo kwa meloch Orengo jimu wapenji kagunyama yanga jidoda kuru Gore majejo timbe to duogo giloch Pariga mapenjo ni Mandela kapito ringo eyo Ogalo nyono iwe to Ajoge geko magoyo timbe ni wuodo galo gorine ono Gwang'ne thiro iwe to gore nyone Ajoge geko magoyo timbe ni wuodo galo gorine ono Gwang'ne thiro iwe to gore nyone Nene lich machalo no Mandela kapicho ringo weyo Kogalo chenjo timbe to duogo giloch Inene lich machalo no Mandela kapicho ringo weyo Gore machenjo timbe to duogo Maino gore mano kogalo yoyo Maino maya Gore mano kogalo yoyo Maino maya Gore mano beno luocho kelo Maino maya Gore mano amolo tiga Maino maya Gore mano amolo tiga Maino maya Gore mano kogalo biro Maino maya Gore mano kogalo yo Maino maya Gore mano beno luocho kelo Maino maya Gore mano kogalo yo Maino maya Gore mano na chirpurge Maino maya Gore mano sianga yoyo Maino maya Gore mano siganga yoyo Maino maya Gore mano wabiro mos Jolambu sekondari go mpira mataya kudonye go Awinjo mano ko adala kade.
Prince Inda Uyari woda wino leta waya
Barikiwa Studio.
Mayo mayo maburuge Pendora la nyapiga mio Pendora la maburugunya Pakora mala yuagana Amola giruma kudiamo Tonga mola giruma kudiamo Arwango yobonagi mabinya Arwango yobonagi kabuno Arwango yobonagi mabinya dudu Arwango yobonagi kibanyo Karajo Luo tono koso kanye Karajo Luo tono koso nenga Ikwara mugine wakoso nenga Embo yo Luo toloro kohula Embo yo Luo toloro kohula Yeti yo Luo to yuakumali Yeti yo Luo to yuakumali Yeti yo nagi to yuakumali Sombine yuak Yodongo yuak Karajo Luo emathone kenyawa Karajo Luo emathone kenyawa Karajo Luo emathone kenyawa The Kenyan political enigma Right Honorable Raila Muludinga Senior Counsel James Agri Orengo Kaparo tomo moya piwanga mwana Kaparo tomo moya piwanga mwana malichi Etengo mino moya ne ukalawa Etengo mino moya ne unigu malichi Etengo mino moya ne neriek miwon Kaparo huko kaseda ya ewu kisumo Kaparo huko kasada pi Kaparo huko kasada pi wanga mwana Kaparo huko kasada pi wanga mwana Kaparo robatu huko pi wanga mwana Are wings kodeka kaparo ya iuris ya yawa Are wings kodeka kaparo pi wanga mwana Arguings go back a caparo piwangamon Babu Owino Oro jode caparo ye Oro jode caparo ye Cheno kajuanga caparo nyategi ye Ucheno kajuanga caparo nyategi mose Cheno kajuanga caparo ye mapambano Uchelo kajuanga kaparo Uchelo kajuanga kaparo Chile Amolo
Uchelo kajuanga kaparo Kirisi chege msando ye wodogoja Kirisi chege msando ye wodogoja Msando nunego nango nunapeyo Kristu nego nango donga penyo Kaparo yo kisumo yo kodele kodele Kaparo yo kisumo piwanga mwa Kaparo yo kisumo piwanga mwa Kaparo yo kibirawa
Aparo yo kibira wa, oh yeah. Aparo yo Magare wa, Magare wa. Aparo yo nandora wa, piwanga mongo. Aparo yo nandora piwanga mongo. Ni jali okwaro wange, dwarore monagi. To jali okwaro wange, dwarore monagi. To jali okwaro wange, dwarore monagi. So ala wacha, chulala wachunuga. Yawa wachunuga, nidonga wachunuga. Yawa wachonigi, nidonga wachonigi, kochwa nyito wachini. Chulala wachunuga, kochwa nyito wachini. Kosatugu kichukomendo kayanon. Kosatugu kichukomenda chomukune. What if baby I do kichukomenda renga nani? Orenga tu kichukomenda chomukune. Kosatugu kichukomenda renga nani? Kosatugu kichukomenda lawa naon. Kosatugu kichukomenda chomukune. Dano ya Godalego Isibna Wapi John Kabongra Kwach Ulum Smart Moves Bohula Godalego Yaluonga malichu wapi munue Dungi juluo neno nyuala geriako Nyikwara mugi neno nyuala geriako Nyikwara juang neno nyuala geriako Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Pinelichide, Lwanda Magare, Pinelichide, Nyamugo Wodomare, Pinelichide, Nyamugo Wodomare, Pinelichide, Tago Wodogo. Tago no good. Hello, Tago no good. Pinelichide. Hello, Goro Galo. Yae Goro Maya. Hello, Goro Galo. Pinelichide. Hello, Goro Galo. Pinelichide. Hello, Goro Galo. Pinelichide. So I can you sing a luo. Donge kangio sigana, yulu akaparo sigana. Donge kangio sigana luo wa mabu. Yana luo wa mabu. Onagi kangio sigana luo wa mabu. Oh ya ye, onagi ya ye. Yikwa jwangu, yikwara mugi ya ye. Ikwaramugia ye, Ikwaramugia ye, Ikwaramugia ye, Ikwaramugi kitwa kitimbewa, Ikwaramugi kitwa kitimbewa. Donge kotwa no nyol mariek, Donge kotwa no nyol mariek, Donge kitwa no nyol kariek. Yaramugi no nyuala kariek. Yaramugi no nyuala kariek. Amoro bedu mali. Somine yuak, yodongo yuak. Kare juluo emathone kenyawa. Kare juluo emathone kenyawa. Kare juluo emathone kenyawa. The Kenyan political enigma, Right Honorable Raila Muludinga, Senior Counsel James Agri Orengo. Kaparo tomo moya piwanga mwana. Kaparo tomo moya piwanga mwana malich. Etengo meno moya ne okalogo. Etengo meno moya ne unigu malich. tengo mínimo ya neneria que me voy. Caparo huko kasada ya ewu Kisumo. Caparo huko kasada pi. Caparo huko kasada pi wana mona. Caparo huko kasada pi wana mona. Caparo robatu huko pi wana mona. Are wings kodeka caparo ya ewu resia ya wa. Arguings go back a caparo piwangamon. Arguings go back a caparo piwangamon. Babu Owino. Oro jole caparo ye. Oro jole caparo ye. Cheno kajuanga caparo nategi ye. Cheno kajuanga caparo nategi mose. Cheno kajuanga kaparo ya mapambano. Cheno kajuanga kaparo. Eyo cheno kajuanga kaparo. Chini amulu. Cheno kajuanga kaparo. Kirisi chege msando ya wodogoja. Kirisi chege msando ya wodogoja. Sando no nego nango no peño. Chris nego nango no peño. Caparo yo Kisumo yo kodale. Caparo yo Kisumo piwangamon. Caparo yo Kisumo piwangamon. Caparo yo kibirawa. Paro yo kibira oh yeah. Paro yo Magare wa. Aparo yo nandora wa piwangamon. Aparo yo nandora piwangamon. Ni jalio kwaro wangi parore monagi. Yo jalio kwaro wangi parore monagi. Yo ya lo cuaro en el duero de monagi. So ala wacha. Chula la wachunuga. Ya wachunuga. Ni donga wachunuga. Ya wachoni. Ni donga wachoni kochwa nyito wachini. Chula la wachunuga kochwa nyito wachini. Kosatugo kichu komendo kaya non. Sadugo kichu komenda chomukune. What if baby I do kichu komenda renga nani? Orenga do kichu komenda chomukune. Kosadugo kichu komenda renga nane. Kosadugo kichu komenda lawa naon. Kosadugo kichu komenda chomukune. Dano ya Wodalego Sibna Wapi John Kabong Rapach Ulum Smart Moves Bohula Wodalego Yaluonga malichu wapi munue Dungi juluo neno nyuala geriako Nyikwara mungi neno nyuala geriako Nyikwara juang neno nyuala geriako Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Lwanda Magare, Pinelichide, Lwanda Magare, Pinelichide, Nyamugo wodo mare Pinelichide, Nyamugo wodo mare Pinelichide, Tago wodo. Tago no good. Tago no good. Pinelichide. Talogoro wono galo. Ya egoro maya. Talogoro wono galo. Pinelichide. Talogoro wono galo. Pinelichide. Talogoro wono galo. Pinelichide. So ale kangio singaluo. Donge kangio sigana. Luo akaparo sigana. Donge kangio sigana Luo wa mabo. Kangio sigana Luo wa mabo. Onagi kangio sigana Luo wa mabo. Oh yeah yeah. Onagi yeah yeah. Ikwajwango. Ikwaramugi yeah yeah. Ikwaramugi yeah yeah. Ikwaramugi yeah yeah. Ikwaramugi yeah yeah. Ikwaramugi kitwa kitimbewa. Ikwaramugi kitwa kitimbewa. Donge kotwa no nyol mariek. Donge kotwa no nyol mariek. Donge kitwa no nyol kariek. Ikwaramugi no nyol kariek. Ikwaramugi no nyol kariek. Amoro bedo jaluo wapimunu. Amoro bedo nagi wapimunu. Amoro bedo nagi wapimunu. Amoro bedo jaluo wapimunu. Anamoro bedo nagi. Moro bedo nagi. Donge moro bedo jaluo. Donge kitwa kitimbewa. Donge kotwa kitimbewa. Donge jaluo no nyuol kariek. Donge jaluo no nyuol kariek. Ikwajwang no nyuol kariek. Ikwaramugi no nyuol kariek.
Beno Kot Jakamagamu. Wapi Nancy Adhiambo Nyakamagamu. Terry Nyangia Proud Chocolate.
Rumba mole mo saparo sigana Luo. Rumba mole mo saparo sigana Luo. Rumba mole mo asungo Luo. Ikwaramugi ne wakoso kanye. Jogitieko wa nikechirieko wa. 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 Jogitieko wa nikechirieko wa wiye. Odiamo mai neneriekane. Odiamo mai neneriekane. Robert Uko neneriekmewa. Robert Uko neneriekmewa. Robert Uko neneriekmewa. Ajuma neneriekmewa. Arguis kodek neneriekmewa. Arguis kodek neneriekmewa. Moya neneriekmewa. Tengo minu moya neneriekmewa. Tengo minu moya neneriekmewa. Julua weugi mago waparomos. Onyagia weugi mago waparomos. Onyagia weugi mago waparechia. Idu jaluo. Idu jaluo. Idu jaluo.
Senior producer, chief engineer, la grande, Good Phoebe, Kanyo, hapo sawa, rumba pole pole, Ziggy Santima. Prince Inda Magare Wodawino, Leta Waya.
Barikiwa Studio.
Mayo mayo maburuge Pendora la nyapiga mia Pendora la maburugu.
Oh yes. Eseche makora lose kodunie. Ye mondo winja jokanyana. An maloso kodini ye mondo winja. Aloso ne joka le, joka winy, kod joka rech, kod gik malak gi bondegi. Kanyiso niya, molos gi lwet dhano, obed meli, obed ndege, obed ot, obed pikipiki, gikone ni nyaka kethre makata nade. To ma Jehova Nyasaye oloso moketo e piny ma wantie ni, obed gi mafuyo, gima mol gi bundie, obed gi manie pi, obed dhano, obed le, gikone nyaka otho. To nitiere kit joka le mochwe kaka dhano, to ok gin ji. Achiel kuomgi en joka bimbe. Maluwogi gin joka ng'eche, gichal gi dhano kabisa, kod sokwe mtu. Mokwongo adawuoyo ni kit joka bimbe. Bim en bim, obed mopidhi, obed manie bungu, to bim en bim. Itedo ne mimiye, ikawo rabolo mochiek kod pai mochiek mayom mimiye. To eseche mimiye ne mapod gigini e lwetini, to kawo kaka ng'at ma yeko, yani okawo kaka ng'at ma mayi. To bende ong'iyo wang'i mondo opan moko. To ka oneno ka ichaki miyo ng'ato nono moken, to yie kata mana negi, miyo bim en bim. To bende onge sa magir ng'ato nyalo bedo ne maber atol, makati dhi kure. To moko bende wasekonyo, kolewe od ang'ech, moko lewe od thieth. To ka bim ne wuok kuma ne entieno, e kindwa kode guok gi rombo, ong'er bende wakonyo. Ka joka bimbe nego, bende onjawa. Tika gineno watu winyo wako ng'er luongo chiege ni akelo, an. Bi kaw kap, nyoka kaw kap. Chieng' moro ne awuotho e bungu, tayudo bim moro, ka joko ong'eche ogoyo, oturo bembene, ng'ute, tiendene, kendo oseromo gi ng'at mosetho. To an kaka msamaria mwema, akaw bim matero e od thieth, mathiedho bim, mamiyo bim kar dak, mondo orit na dala. Amiye kapod onape gi ang'ola emolosore, ochalo nyathi mathin. Yawa, bim nomo jogegi mane nie thim te, mane onge kata duol, matinde yako olembe mawapidhe dala ka. An tinde ka bimbe onena, to en mana lweny. Iwinjo makochok okogo nyawadgi ni o. Joka bimbe gin joka bimbe, gikawo piny, chal piny gitindo yudo uru, ginyalo wuowa kaka gin magidwaro. Yawa, ndalo mane waringo ka dwaro olembegi, jogi ne gin kanye. An awuon mawuoyo kodu ni, ato an ng'ama tin ma ji ochayo bende aonge kony nikech kaparo nakonyo pinywa ni to kare aketho ne mana ji to gima mondo anyiswe ni rech nyuolo mana rech inyo ni le en le onyuolo mana le to pok ne awinje ni dhiang' otimo arus gi punda bende pok ne awinje ni diel otimo arus gi rombo pok ne awinjo ni guok otimo arus gi nguruwe pok ne awinjo ni jowi oriwo arus gomuga bim en bim bim nyuolo mana bim ok onyuolo ng'er magwar ok nyuol riwo to gin joka le duto mani bungu kamongo ok nyuol mbuta ngege ok nyuol okoko kuon pala arum tidi ok nyuol tula udo ok nyuol ongo wang' to awendo ok we yiere an muneno ok udwara ni an joka wundhe awuoyo mang'eny kendo awero wende mang'eny maonge tiendgi weche na muchago an ema konyonu piny to tinga to puro omiyo waneno maber miye mach Oh yes, eseche makora lose kodu nie, yie mondo uwinja jokanyana. An maloso kodu ni, yie mondo uwinja. Aloso ne joka le, joka winy, kod joka rech, kod gik malak gi bondegi. Kanyiso niya, molos gi lwet dhano, obed meli, obed ndege, obed ot, obed pikipiki, gikone ni nyaka kethre makata nade. To ma Jehova Nyasaye oloso moketo e piny ma wantie ni, obed gima fuyo, gima mol gi bundie, obed gima nie pi, obed dhano, obed le, giko ni nyaka otho. To nitiere kit joka le mochwe kaka dhano, to ok gin ji. Achiel kuomgi en joka bimbe, maluwogi gin joka ng'eche, gichal gi dhano kabisa, kod sokwe mtu. Mokwongo adawuoyo ni kit joka bimbe. Bim en bim, obed mopidhi, obed manie bungu, to bim en bim. Itedo ne mimiye, ikawo rabolo mochiek kod pai mochiek mayom mimiye. To eseche mimiye ne, mopod gigi nie lweti ni, eto kawo kaka ng'at mayeko, yani okawo kaka ng'at mamayi. To bende ong'iyo wang'i mondo opan moko. To ka oneno ka ichaki miyo ng'ato nono moken, to yie kata mana negi, miyo bim en bim. To bende onge sa magir ng'ato nyalo bedo ne maber atol makati dhi kure. To moko bende wasekonyo, kolewe od ang'ech, moko lewe od thieth. ka bim ne wuok kuma ne entieno e kindwa kode guok gi rombo ong'er bende wakonyo ka joka bimbe nego bende onjawa tika gineno watu winyo wakong'er luongo chiege ni akelo an bi kaw kap nyoka kaw kap chieng' moro ne awuotho e bungu tayudo bim moro ka joko ong'eche ogoyo oturo bembene ng'ute tiendene kendo oseromo gi ng'at mosetho to an kaka msamaria mwema akaw bim matero e od thieth mathiedho bim mamiyo bim kar dak mondo oritna dala amiye kapod onape gi ang'ola emolosore ochalo nyathi mathin yawa bim nomo jogegi mane nie thim te mane onge kata duol ematine yako olembe mawapidhe dala ka an tinde ka bimbe onena to en mana lweny iwinjo makochok okogo nyawadgi ni o joka bimbe gin joka bimbe gikaw piny chal piny gitindo yudo uru ginyalo wuowa kaka gin magidwaro yawa ndalo mane waringo ka dwaro olembegi jogi ne gin kanye an awuon mawuoyo kodu ni ato an ng'ama tin ma ji ochayo bende aonge kony nikech kaparo nakonyo pinywa ni to kare aketo ni mana ji to gima mondo anyiswe ni rech nyuolo mana rech inyo ni le en le onyuolo mana le to pok ne awinje ni dhiang' otimo arus gi punda bende pok ne awinje ni diel otimo arus gi rombo
aneno ka
otimo arus gi nguruwe
budho yie pek
pok ne awinjo ni jogi oriwo arus gomuga bim en bim bim nyuolo mana bim ok onyuolo ng'eny magwar ok nyuol
awinji ka isedonjo aparo ni
kamongo ok nyuol mbuta
kawuono wado mana wuoyi wach
ngege ok nyuol okoko
mar Lwanda Magere Jakom
arum tidi ok nyuol tula
Ramos menundo makawuono
ok nyuol ongo wang'
probro mida kamatin
to awendo ok
to kanyo to
weyere
bro miwa nini matin
an muneno ok udwara ni an joka wuondhi awuoyo mang'eny kendo awero wende mang'eny maonge tiendgi
morito wa matin koro wadhi temo
weche na mochago
tiyo gi time mantie ni pod warite to ageno ni yo
an
maber
makonyonu piny to tinga to puro omiyo waneno maber miye mach
ni jogo mawinjowa
Yawinji kabisa.
ber kabisa erokamano jogo mawinjowa e Facebook jogo mawinjowa e YouTube jogo mani X ber kabisa ket mana kanyo ber mana mos kendo kawuono wado winjo ni to ne wachako gik mokalo wado winjo sigand kata wach Lwanda Magere koro bed mana mos kendo ibed mos biro mos kabisa koro ber kaw kom kaw kom kik ibed gi wasiwasi kele kaka idware ero Jakom iwacho nadi kapod warito Ramoth aparo ni gi George gibiro abira jogo mani i X-Space bed abeda kanyo kik ilokri bed abeda kanyo kamiketene makete jogo mani X-Space wabiro i X-Space kanyo kik ibed gi wasiwasi ka in gi penjo inyalo penjo ka in gi duoko inyalo duoko at some point ka time oyie wabende wabro yawo mics mondo joma ni space bende nyalo wuoyo from mana kama intie no joma ni platform mopogore YouTube inyalo ndiko comment, inyalo penjo penjo. Jogo mani Facebook inyalo ndiko comment, inyalo penjo penjo. TikTok bende biro machiegni kae, Instagram biro. Koro bira mos ikele kaka intie gi kama intie. Platform in mi prefer kanya minuang'o wae. Ber kabisa, neno ka George bende osedonjo kae. Ber kabisa, koro wabro mana thum. Aparo Ramadha Ken iseduogo, nowacho ni wamiyo dakika moko 2-3. En ma otayowa kawuono, en molid nwa i discussion kata inono wach mar Lwanda Magere ni. Aparo ni podi matin onge shida.
Magunga Pini diariwa Kendo unibelu neno nyitiwa Ayukora penyo joka juda gyodo kwa emae Aligi malototo uchayo Kendo uitataka Karuchiko kanye joka juangi Kamuchiko katanakia Uye uwinyu wachini madongo Kiko bede kasigana Namdoro marea jokeigi Kotko ginga juma Chachien marangongo nyoto fado Toko gibimbe koda jokonge To enigi mudimo unkendu Gisi mari bini ndara ngini gima kelo masije Yado nego kukuma ko ungara tengo minu mboya Geje teko ya joka juangi ye unge utenga Amolo uwero ganda uweja lego puru noa eturaka Chachien marangongo joneno dojo noe namwani Lumpie namwatauli kech donje pinka Red mayande konyo joka juangi namdar godo Namdate ya jokenyo ye ugo kanye Tia los nenga kawili ye upimnoe Rate wamina gola tinga ininga mapuro Ye konyo ganda wunya lego kechini epi Gari nyoja kwa moko fuyo miwange otenga Ya majo turae jokeigi ye ufadi tinga Tinga konyo turagi kilimo tokendo rego engo Oina mako witigi mawacho node kela jema Tia lomi kanye kawili magunga tugo kijikombe Togi manyiso pito uwinyo bekatu kecho waju Uye ure uledo ya jokei mondo kontinga Masije medore tunge pindu to kedo lwenje ng'eny Pinje ruodhi kedo kakusomo e buka kondiki Tuoche medore makang'iyo dinde kedo kendgi Dar ni e pi makaingo wakimbisi ringo An gima neno makawili ni okobor gewa Magunga leko no machiegni ngwech ni e turaka Uye unyon piya jokei machieko piny Tia cham kanye kawili koth boginga juma Kiriso ruodho kanda Jehova ye kony pi winjo mer Kora chiko kanye Kilian kora penjo duoko mer An ng'ama bayo kod rumba kod nyire pinka Tia los gi ng'aka wili koth kongujo seka Kosa penje ya ma Uganda gi oduokwa e Martin Ya ma jotura Tanzania oduoknwa e pinjno Kosa nyiso ya ma Josambia gi ornwa e kony Mosa kwaya ya ma Ethiopia gi jo Zimbabwe ni kanye Ja Amerika un kod Asia ye ukony piny Piny dhi ariwa jo Ulaya msinga tieko piny Tinga jio pako Tinga pako tenete Tinga en gima puro koda chien Yando nyono tuna yo langata Joko kolio koringo Pindung buru yo Nairobi Gweno ringo tinga Railo mino buru gonya lego Nege gweno welo ngeng Imeli nego moko mina kinyi Keicheko pinka Tinga majiri toke gonea Purno e turaka
Host, nitie connection.
Oh, ase wuoyo maol. Erokamano maduong'. Ase wuoyo kae dakika 30.
Kowinji koro wacho ni
kawuono. Erokamano maduong'. Ase wuoyo dakika 30 kara ne an wach ng'eng studio. Koro
Vin ni wuoyo ga kendi.
Awuoyo kende kuom dakika 5. Studio wach ng'enge koro samoro waya moro nitie kaka nyalo gwere ka gi kacha. Kata kamano nawacho ni mane wer manokalo ne en mar Dio Misiani to budho ni en ka lure gi jogo mane nitie wik mokalo. Ne wachake wik mokalo to kaka pile wan gi wendo ma kawuono makawuono en GK sirikal Ramoth maparo no bro tayo budho to wan gi George gi welo ng'eng. Aparo ni George koro kinyalo kawe itari kawuono sirikal kapok amiyo wado George mondo omiwa opithnwa.
Iwinjo?
Bas in kasewinji kama one set.
Awinji maber GK.
Dhi mbele wadwa iwach nyo to kawuono what more mwamedo kolure gi budho mane wachako wik mokalo. Erokamano.
Yeah. Erokamano. So, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to our powerful journey through Luo wisdom, history, and identity. Today, we continue with the story that has outlived generations. It has stirred debate and shaped cultural imagination. The story of Lwanda Magere. Was he a man, a myth, or a symbol of something deeper within us? To help us unpack this timeless narrative, we are joined once again by a mind that doesn't just tell stories, but interprets them, a thinker who connects culture, philosophy, and meaning in a way that challenges how we see ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, philosopher Ramoth GK, as we continue the series on Lwanda Magere. Your hosts today, Vincent Okoth, and the narrator, or the moderator, is George Oude. And we are joined by Hilary Gondi, the chairman, Luo Nation. Thank you so much. Ramoth, waduogo iri kendo kawuono. Wadwa winjo ni to chapter 1 ne wawinjo katut kendo ne wamor kabisa. Koro war gombo dhi mbele wawinjo ni to Lwanda Magere ni. Ang'o matimre kode? Was he a man? Was he a myth? Koso en symbol ma something deeper within us. Erokamano. Karibu Ramoth GK.
Erokamano George. Ka wadhi mbele alafu waborange kwa yawe some more mondo kakentie. Last time tie nosomo chapter mokwongo, but nitie kuma nwaweyo the last bit manaweyo mananeno wanyalo chako go kapok wadhi chapter 2. Chako iluonge ni a mentor's wisdom. Emomiyo ne naweyo nikech Magere and mentorship. In the heart of village, there lived a man called Nyando. He was not just a man, but a renowned warrior, and a respected elder. His wisdom and skills in battle were unmatched. Nyando had fought many battles, had returned victorious. The community looked up to him the community looked up to him not only for his strength, his wisdom, keen understanding of strategy, and a deep knowledge of Luo traditions. When Lwanda's father Abonyo was the potential, saw the potential in his son, he knew Nyando was the perfect mentor for Lwanda. Nyando had known Lwanda's family for years. He had fought alongside Abonyo, had great respect for him. Then he agreed to mentor. When he agreed to mentor Lwanda, as an honor and a responsibility, as an responsibility. Nyando took under his wing, treating him as his own son. Their relationship was built on mutual respect and trust. Lwanda admired Nyando's strength and wisdom. Lwanda, the future protector of their people. Together, they began of learning and growth. Nyando's lessons were both practical and profound. He taught techniques that had been passed down through generations. They practiced with spears and shields, honing Lwanda's skills with action. Nyando emphasized the importance of strategy. A true warrior thinks before he acts, he would say. They spent hours discussing battle tactics, learning to outsmart opponents. Nyando also taught Lwanda lessons in leadership. He explained the importance of he explained the importance of making decisions for the greater good and leading with integrity. A leader must be fair and just, Nyando told him. But Nyando's teachings went beyond combat and leadership. He shared traditional wisdoms, his wisdom and sayings that held deep meaning. A wise person builds a house with patience, he once told Lwanda, teaching the value of perseverance. Nyando used stories and anecdotes to illustrate his lessons, past warriors and their deeds, showing Lwanda the qualities that made them great. These stories were not just tales, but lessons in bravery, strength, and the importance of protecting the community. Nyando's guidance had a profound impact on Lwanda. He began through the eyes of a leader. His behaviors changed, reflecting the teachings of his mentor. He became more thoughtful and strategic in his actions. Lwanda understood his responsibilities and embraced them with confidence. His outlook shifted from a boy eager to prove himself to a young man ready to lead and protect his people. Nyando shaped him and prepared the challenges ahead. One day, Nyando told Lwanda about who had faced a significant challenge. The warrior had to choose between personal gain and the well-being of his people. He chose the latter, sacrificing his desires for the greater good. This story resonated deeply with him. He realized that selflessness and dedication to others. Lessons to heart, letting them guide his actions and decisions. Nyando's role in shaping Lwanda's destiny was undeniable. He provided tools and knowledge Lwanda needed to grow into a great warrior. He instilled in bravery, strength, and integrity. Under Nyando's mentorship, flourished. He became a symbol of hope and strength for the people. The bond between the mentor and student was strong, built on respect and shared purpose. Nyando's teachings would remain with Lwanda forever, guiding him through many life challenges. Ultimately, Nyando's wisdom and teachings were more than just lessons. They were the foundation upon which Lwanda built his future. They prepared him to fulfill his destiny as the great warrior of the Luo people. He stood on the brink of his next challenge. He knew that the guidance of his mentor would always be letting his path, strengthening his resolve. Mano was the last part. Mane okatiko go last time. Nkech no one internship to odane kaka giri late. Kaka story no donjo. George Bodu Winja.
Ramoth, this Nyando guy, how is he? Kawa trace, nyalo trace just a bit of it, and is he related to the famous now Nyando River or what? Because Jogi, kata Lwanda Magere is from the same area. Nyando is Nyando Nyinge. Lwanda Magere's mentor, his name is Nyando. Is there a correlation the River Nyando, as far as you know, or must we do a bit of a research on that?
Mano nyaka warange kiasi. Nikech nowachon kama neka miye this story. So, nyaka warange ntie kaka jo Luo rango ga water. Wasewacho kaka girango ga water. So, oken surprise. We're named after the river. Surprise. Kiango characteristics ne oken surprise. Kata Martin. To me, coexist. It's very interesting the names Mo choose for the characters.
Yes.
Lwanda, Magare. Donc, Lwanda, Magare. Lwanda, Gere. Yeah. Abonyo, Babagi. Now I discussed the other time names. Abonyo, Babagi. And then Nyando, the mentor. I think I checked the second chapter.
Yes, sure.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Chapter 2, I'm going to rise challenge. Imagine the dawn breaks green hills of the Luo village. The air is crisp. The sky is painted in hues of pink and gold. Birds chirp merrily as the town awakens to a new day. In the distance, you see the young Lwanda Magere already ready for training. The morning mist clings to the ground and the air feels electric with the possibility. This is where Lwanda begins his daily routine, pushing himself to become the warrior, the prophecy foretold. The training grounds. Lwanda's training was not for the faint-hearted. Each day started with early morning runs through rugged terrain. He would race through the hills, valleys, his feet pounding the earth with the hands were long and grueling, designed to build his endurance and strength. Lwanda's breath came in steady bursts as he pushed himself hard each step. The morning air filled his lungs, and the sound of nature occupied his. These runs were not just about physical exercise, but also taught him resilience and perseverance. After the runs, Lwanda would move to weightlifting. He used heavy stones, each one a challenge in itself. Lifting these stones required all his strength and force. His muscles strained under the weight, but he never gave up. He carefully lifted each stone, knowing that this was making him stronger. Rocks was calm, grounding him as he worked. He thought about his role as protector. Each stone was a word fulfilling his destiny. Training was next. Lwanda practiced with wooden weapons, honing his skill for battle. He sparred with every trainee. And each session was a dance of strategy and strength. The wooden spears and shield clashed with rhythmic precision. Lwanda's movements was swift and calculated. George no Luo was swift. Lwanda's movements were swift and calculated. His eyes sharp. He learned to anticipate his opponent's moves and always stay one step ahead. These sessions taught him physical skills and the importance of quick thinking, adaptability in battle. This was in Lwanda's training. He adhered to strict schedules, never missing a session. He woke up before the sun and trained until it set. This routine instilled responsibility in him. Being a warrior required dedication and commitment. Lessons in mindfulness and focus were part of his practice. He learned to quiet his mind and concentrate on the task at hand. This focus helped him in training and real-life situations, making him a better warrior. Lwanda's mentor, Nyando, played a crucial role in his training. Nyando was always there, offering personalized advice and Lwanda's techniques. He oversaw each move, guiding Lwanda with a firm hand, but a kind one. Nyando shared stories of past battles, teaching Lwanda the strategies that had worked for him. These stories were valuable lessons, each a treasure trove of wisdom. Nyando's experience and guidance made Lwanda a skilled and confident warrior. The training grounds themselves were inspiring. Open fields stretched out, dotted with training equipment. These were targets for spear throwing, dummies for combat practice, and stones for lifting. Forested areas provided those, making the runs more challenging. The environment was beautiful and demanding, pushing the trainees to their limits. The camaraderie among the trainees was palpable. They encouraged, shared tips, and celebrated each other. This sense of community made the training even more rewarding. The competitive spirit among the trainees kept everyone on their toes. They pushed each other, creating an atmosphere of healthy competition. Each trainee wanted to be the best, but they also wanted their peers to succeed. This balance of competition created strong bonds. Lwanda thrived in this environment, learning from his peers and growing stronger daily. The training grounds were not just a place of physical exertion. They were a place of growth, learning, and camaraderie. Lwanda's rigorous training regimen, discipline, and support of his mentors and peers all played crucial role in his development. The early morning runs, weightlifting with heavy stones, and combat practice with wooden weapons honed his skills and built his strength. The strict schedules and lessfulness taught him discipline and focus. With Nyando's mentorship and the camaraderie among the trainees, forested areas and training equipment provided the perfect backdrop for his transformation. Then we got what the chapter 2, subchapter 2, the first battle. One day, news spread through the village like wildfire. A neighboring planning to raid. This tribe had always been a threat. This tribe had always been a threat. Now, they were coming to take what is not theirs. The village elders called for an urgent meeting. They knew they had to act fast. Warriors gathered, listening to the elders' plans. Everyone felt the tension in the air. The urgency was apparent. They had to prepare for the conflict quickly. Lwanda stood among the warriors, ready to defend his people. His heart raced, but he knew this was his moment to prove him. As the sun set, Lwanda's position in the battle formation. He placed front lines, a testament to his skills and bravery. His responsibilities were clear. He had to lead his group and ensure that they held their ground. Lwanda's strategic mind kicked into high gear. He thought about the enemy's positions, possible moves, counter them. He communicated his thoughts to his fellow warriors, ensuring everyone was on the same page. They listened to him, trusted his judgment. Lwanda's confidence was infectious. It boosted the morale of the warriors around him. The night was dark and the air was filled with anticipation. Suddenly, the sound of me approaching broke the silence. The battle began. Lwanda's eyes scanned the battlefield. He knew an opportunity to outsmart. He saw an opportunity to outsmart the enemy. He directed his group to flank the side, catching them off guard. The enemy, surprised by this move, faltered. Lwanda seized the moment. He led a charge, pushing the attackers back. His tactics were working. The enemy was disoriented and confused. Lwanda's strategic mind was proving to be the great asset. During the battle, a fellow warrior found himself in dire situation. Enemies, it seemed like there was no escape. Lwanda saw this and acted without hesitation. He fought through the enemy lines, reaching his fellow warrior just in time. He defended his friend with swift, precise movements, driving the attackers away. The rescued warriors looked at Lwanda with gratitude and admiration. This daring rescue was crucial in the battle, showcasing Lwanda's heroism and selflessness. As the battle raged on, Lwanda noticed a critical point that could turn the tide. The enemy had a weak spot in their formation. He knew this was their chance to gain the upper hand. Lwanda gathered a small group of skilled warriors and led a decisive attack on this weak spot. The enemy formation crumbled under the pressure. This decisive shifted the momentum in favor of Lwanda's side. The attack began to retreat, realizing they could not win. Lwanda's bravery and quick thinking made all the difference. When the battle finally ended, the village erupted in celebration. The threat had been defeated thanks to the bravery of the warriors and the strategic mind of Lwanda. The elders gathered to honor the heroes of the day. They praised Lwanda for his outstanding leadership and courage. Elders placed their hands on his shoulders, showing him respect and pride. The warriors cheered for him, acknowledging his role in their victory. Lwanda's reputation as a skilled and brave warrior was further solidified. The victory celebrations were filled with joy and pride. Traditional dances and songs echoed through the village. Committed to honor their young warrior, Lwanda stood among the people feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He had proved himself in battle and the respect of his peers and elders. The bond between him and his fellow people grew more robust. Lwanda's actions protected his village and inspired everyone around him. The legend of Lwanda Magare continued to grow, fueled by his heroism and dedication. George, kata Vin, kata Hillary. Uwinja.
Wawinji maber kabisa. Wawinji maber kabisa kabisa.
Dimokaria alafu. 2-3. Chapter 2, subtopic 3. Magical shield. One night, Lwanda had a vivid dream. In his dream, a wise elder spoke of a magical shield hidden deep in the forest. The elder told him that this shield was powerful, protect him in battle. Lwanda woke up with a sense of purpose. He knew he had to find the shield. He prepared for a quest, feeling a mix of excitement and determination. As he ventured into the forest, he focused from his dream. The path was challenging, filled with thick underbrush and hidden dangers. Lwanda pressed on, driven by the vision and its promise of protection. Arching, Lwanda finally found the shield. It was hidden in a cave. Its surface in the dim light. The shield any he had ever seen. It was smooth and round, with intricate carvings that tell a story. The edges glinted with an otherworldly glow. As Lwanda picked it up, he felt in him. He knew this was no ordinary shield. It had unique features and set it apart. The shield was light yet strong, capable of deflecting any weapon that struck it. Lwanda marveled at its beauty and power, understanding its significance. The shield was more than just a tool. It symbolized the supernatural. Legends spoke of shields that could deflect, and now Lwanda had one. The shield's powers were extraordinary. No spear, no arrow, or sword could penetrate its surface. He had a sense of invincibility, a feeling that nothing could harm him. The shield had also tied to a prophecy. It was said that a great warrior, would find this shield to protect his home. Lwanda realized he was the warrior from the prophecy, and this shield was part of his destiny. The shield into his training was a new challenge. Lwanda practiced defensive maneuvers, learning to use the shield to its full potential. He spent hours mastering the techniques, understanding how to block and dodge precisely. The shield became an extension of his arm, moving with him. His peers watched in awe as he demonstrated its powers. They had never seen anything like it. The shield's ability to deflect any weapon amazed them. His mentor, Nyang, was really impressed. He offered guidance on integrating the shield into combat, further enhancing Lwanda's skills. The reactions to the shield with awe and respect. The other warriors saw Lwanda as even more powerful. They admired his dedication to mastering the shield. Nyando saw the potential it held for his battles. He encouraged Lwanda to continue training. It could turn the tide in their favor. The shield's unique powers were a game changer. Provided an edge that no enemy could match. I felt that tense and responsibility. He knew that this shield was not just a gift, but to practice people. The shield held symbolic meaning for Lwanda. It was a symbol of his destiny and protection. The shield reminded him and the role he was playing. It boosted his confidence, knowing he had a powerful tool to aid him. The shield also gave him a sense of purpose. It was a constant reminder of his mission to protect his people. Each time he held it, determination. They became identity, representing his strength and commitment. Lwanda's discovery of the magical shield point. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life. With the shield in hand, he felt unstoppable. He knew that he was ready to face any challenge that came his way. Shield's powers and the symbolism fueled his journey. It was more than a tool, but a beacon of hope and strength. Lwanda embraced this new power, ready to protect his people with unwavering courage and determination. The subchapter 4, subchapter 4, chapter 2, sub 4, bonds of friendship.
Ramo, just a second. I think that chapter, what you've just read, not the chapter, but because I know the chapter 2 has subsection, but that subchapter you just read is quite intriguing to me. Ask me, because it will lead to us asking ourselves, Lwanda Magere, after being mentored by Nyando, you know, from just being mentored as a person. Apparently, if you read the subchapter you just read, you realize that he's now being mentored strategically in war, like combat. He's taken into combat. And so the question I would ask, because this is quite intriguing, we are in mentorship series in Luo Nation, even what we did yesterday. So the question maybe could be, as we move into when we come back to now, kuichambua chambua kido, the whatever we've read, then the question should be, if I would be asked, my question would be, Nyando mentored Lwanda Magere, right? But since we are mentoring young Luo men currently, and Lwanda Magere had a spear and you know the shield as his tools of trade. But remember, currently the war has moved from physical war to a totally different thing. So what tools are we meant as mentors now? Are we meant to use to infuse into the young men today to do what? As their weapons. I think that is what I wanted to say. So we need to ask ourselves what tools, because we are not going to give them shields and spears anymore. But what tools are we going to give them? I think that's what I wanted to. Thank you.
Some subchapter of, and then finally the introduction alafu makobi wabogine mosmos nkech wabodhi kode mosmos.
Yep. Yeah.
But erokamano for something to mano is something to really think about. Okay, so or mate. It's a bit sigana bit mate. Kine kake obedo structured to kete and bonds of friendship. In the heart of the village, Lwanda found a place to train. He found friends who would stand by him through thick and thin. These friendships were forged in the heat of the battle and the sweating. They shared many experiences, both tough. They laughed together, they cried together, and celebrated each other's. They celebrated each other's victories. Through these shared moments, the bonds grew stronger. They respected each other profoundly and admired each other's strengths. It was this mutual respect that made their friendship so special. Friends, there was one who stood out. His name was Juma. Juma was not just a friend, he was a confidant and an advisor. He was always there to listen when Lwanda needed to talk. Under the stars, discussed their dreams and fears. Juma's wisdom often guided Lwanda through difficult decisions. Then there was Kofi, a rival turned friend. Kofi and Lwanda had started as competitors, always trying each other. But over time, their rivalry turned into friendship. They realized that they could push each other to be. Kofi's challenges made Lwanda stronger and more determined. Lwanda and his friends made acts of loyalty every day. They supported each other in times of need. If one of them got hurt, the others were there to help, bring food, water, and comforting words. They never left anyone behind. Their loyalty was unwavering. They also worked together to strategize for battles. They would gather around the fire, discussing their plans. Each friend brought a unique perspective, and together they formed unbeatable strategies. Their teamwork was a testament to their bond. These friendships had a profound impact on Lwanda's growth. He learned valuable lessons from his friends' strengths and weaknesses. Juma's wisdom taught him to think. Kofi's challenges pushed him to improve his skills. These lessons made Lwanda a better warrior and leader. Whenever he felt doubt or fear, his friends were there to lift his spirits. They reminded him of his strength and potential. Their belief in him made him believe in himself. Friendships was more than just words for Lwanda. It was a source of strength and inspiration. It was the foundation on which he built his dreams. His friends were his people, supporting him through every trial and triumph. They celebrated his victories and mourned his losses. More than friends, they were family. And in the village, family meant everything. These bonds of friendship were not just crucial for Lwanda, they were necessary for the entire village. They showed the unity and support. That together, they could overcome any challenge. The friendships Lwanda formed were a shining example of the strength that comes from standing together. As they trained each day, their bonds grew more robust. They faced every challenge with courage and determination. They knew they could face anything as long as they had each other. Their friendships were a source of joy and comfort. They made the hard days bearable and the good days forgettable. They were a testament to the power of the strength of the human spirit. Ultimately, these friendships much as his strength and bravery. They shaped him into the warrior he was destined to be. They gave him the courage to face every challenge and the strength to overcome every obstacle of his journey. The light that guided him through the darkness. And for that, he was forever grateful. Subchapter 4. The one some chapters, but mano endelea next session endelea kana adogo ni George kod Vin adoko no mondo
Ramoth, quite interesting. Very, very interesting. Par couple of Vin Kobiro. I've really noted a number of things in the sub chapters that we have talked about today, and that's why I threw in a question as you are reading. But even after throwing in a question, you've read the chapter you've just finished, the sub chapter you've just finished with. There is a journey here. It started with mentorship. That was Nyando. It went to strategy. The forms of weapons that he was using and his tactical training in combat strategy. And he had got two powerful weapons, and the way that the weapons are being portrayed or are being talked about is just out of this world. And that's what led me to ask question myself in the question that I ask you, that because the story of Lwanda Magere had that mentor Nyando, but it's not just a folklore, it is a psychological and cultural blueprint for mentorship among the Luo people. So, but now Lwanda Magere had his shaping from Nyando. Nyando taught him even how to fight. He guided his thinking. He guided his discipline. And in a sense, his sense of responsibility was sound and grounded. So this is where a modern young man must begin when we move forward. It's because mentorship is not, we learn, for me, what I'm thinking, that we need to know that mentorship is not about coping and strength, but about building structure within oneself. You've talked about friends. First, there was a confident, Juma. He was a confident. So we need to have confidence. People we can depend on, whether it rains or it shines. Then there was a four-turned friend. It's quite interesting and intriguing. They were four at first. Then they realized that they have the common enemy. The moment you people realize you have a common enemy, you can't be enemies anymore. You unite and you now confront the common enemy together, and they trained together. One thing that I need also to highlight is that they cried together. Why are we being lied to that Luos, that men don't cry? Lwanda Magare was the strongest, and he had Juma and he had Kofi, people who had also trained, but they cried together. They laughed together. The bond that they had between them showed power of unity, and it was not just about them; it was about the community itself. So I stop there before, because I'm really interested in the part that. But then now, Luanda's shield and spear has been mortalized the way it's been talked about in the story. Now, what weapons do we arm our young men with, as they look for mentorship from those of us who are there to hold their hands? Back to you, Ramoth. Vin, kain giwach.
Aparo ni Ramoth maybe nyalo gombo respond to mano kapok anini kose.
Odhi mbele apochipo kanyo.
Okay, erokamano. Ya aparo ni Jojo owache kendo owacho so many things ma nagombo bende highlight, to mano ber kabisa. Ya Ramoth, erokamano maduong' kuom, aparo ni kata chieng' cha kane wapenjo gi to it's good ni keep gi it's good ni keep the responses, because it answers some of the questions mane wan go last time. Kane temo penjo ni to Lwanda Magere ni ne en gi strategy, to ne en ng'ama obedo trained ordinary, like normal training, kose how should I say supernatural or unearthly was him. Mano nyalo goyo ji kendo nyalo en spear dak kal idede. Kose ne nitie some form of exaggeration si story mar Lwanda Magere ni. Ne en a human being mane ni tape ni nonyalo win lweny mang'eny, kata ne en gi better approach, like ne wawuoyo about kata mana Shaka Zulu then. Kane wachiwo example nichiwo nyaka example maber mar Shaka Zulu kaka no manage to revolutionize spear magitiyogo. Nyiso ne en gi strategy kendo ne en gi plan. Waneno almost the same thing gi Lwanda Magere kae, ka koro mano be chako biro kendo chako make sense, to pod omedo mana questions. O make sense, but pod oyawo even more questions ni ne wacho largely we kind of inclined towards koso bedo story mar adier kata koso bedo adier mar story ni, which is again very interesting ni wachako neno ka some of the things seems to be very practical, including kaka nogore gi the strategy gi the process itself. Koro mano pod nyiso ni question cha pod is pending. Is very interesting. More questions better answer to more questions better asked to those that we thought then ni we could conclude kendo wayawo that box again. Wachako penjo go kendo to kara en nyalo bedo maber kabisa. To an gima interesting ka en ni sorry ni dhegi gima wuoye recently about mentorship to mentorship okao very center stage mar this strategy. Mano is very interesting sana. Interesting kabisa ni to wang'eyo ni mentorship osebedo not only in Luo land kata history mar Lwanda Magere and everywhere. At some point for anybody man build anything legacy, anything celebrate history. Nentie some form of mentorship and it's really really interesting ni mentorship kao stage ni. Aparo jojo kwano gi okadwa nuoyo of mentorship to strategy to some other things. Koro an gima kendo interest aka en ni nitie gimiluongo ni community support. Might also playing very important role. How Lwanda Magere no manage that community support. It's really really interesting. Ni like para at some point. I remember katan myself na penyo to Lwanda Magere no nyalo bedo mana ng'ata achiel meno kawa kidi katoka ka spear to the other to chaka goji eno kokea kata nen gi jolweny ongo jolweny kose no mobilize people to manage kito waneno kaka nen gi in fact no chako to gik moko ni terms ni strategy and trust, skilled and trained warrior. There were so many things maniti wokanyo manyiso ni something minyalo achieve mane gima temo elewa kani we can maybe no necessarily the Lwanda Magere mobedo describe in some of the things mane in kidi but Lwanda Magere was built. It's also encouraging ni actually we can to some extent achieve or do something. It's not new helpless. You are read some natural or supernatural phenomena mondo timre kata anything mau is out of control mondo timre so we can have another Lwanda Magere nyiso ni kata at this particular point we can actually have another in our own definition Lwanda Magere to mano lead to things ma kata nyoro ne watemo wacho no the man and the same the terrain the environment emonyalo bedo no change koro we still see a man Lwanda Magere ma is very courageous. But can we define ni upon George Beno page ni is there anything mwanyalo miyo ng'at masani ma manyalo nyiso ni courage, protection, lweny spear gi maybe they go those things. Can we have something ma ng'ato nyalo provide with that protection kata can financial strength or muscles competition sani maybe can mobilize a committee mondo odhi okaw dhok. Is there anything mwanyalo redefine go competition mondo jaluo kata luo man kata anybody else from this story obed Lwanda Magere in this time and age mondo obed ni maybe en kata ng'at manigi for example mwandu ma en Lwanda Magere ma joluo ma en super rich manyalo win joluo any battles or anything. There's so many things can do very interesting questions mwanyalo learn then to temo keto into context masani. More bed gi Lwanda Magere in this age ma en Lwanda Magere ma marwa. Kendo gima owuok na maber nene nitie a lot of awachne should I say legacy and long-term goals not ni and not reactive decisions, very proactive decisions. When somebody sat down to watch another build Lwanda Magere, I don't mean not in that maybe no I'm one Lwanda Magere the name, but somebody manyalo ko waneno Nyando play very important role. I'm happy ni George Beno page about Nyando because I was going to ask ni could we have, because it's said ni or believed ni Lwanda Magere been ne walk around area milugo ni Nyando, do you have any connection? And I'm just kiwa choni Sido and all those people, my community, and all those people modak around there. Do we get that connection? Mawanyalo neno to Lwanda Magere ni en ng'ano sani. Because never temo penjo to gini medo miwa lead kako medo the story ni as much as omi questions moko mang'eny pod dhi dong pending, but otemo duoko a few other questions my really interesting kabisa. Koro gino mora sana an naparo ni mage points ma most of them George say point out maber kabisa. Can I really appreciate this forum kata this opportunity to analyze book because for sure there's so many things to learn and so many things to ponder about and see what does this mean, and what goes where, and what is not going where, and what is not sitting where, maybe reclassifying even the context of this kind of literature. Koro mano ber kabisa. Maber kabisa. Koro amor, but aparo ni kago gina general points ma wanyalo paro. They're not very specific, but gina gik maneno aba neno ni really interesting. To gimo duong ni wanyalo train Lwanda Magere from this story, which is really quite encouraging. Erokamano gi sani.
To Hilary nitie gima odwa wacho kata observation kata ang'o?
Okang'eyo nonyalo wuoyo because he's not feeling well. Koro, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't think Kapar nonyalo. Yeah, he's not feeling well.
Kamano sana nikech observations go ber. Observations go mean at least timo culture. Wa expand, wakunyo the information. Mondo one nuggets mwabo yudo kata minerals kata kik mwabo yudo in the experience mar our ancestors and kata communication kod wuon ng'ama ondiko book kobedo transferred through him to one pod wani conversation kata ka parents ge, if whether they are alive or not, but pod watimo the conversation. Ka waduogo wach mentorship kata nyoro, there was a point skip gini nowacho sana to ni realize ni mama mi nowacho ni wawuoyo about the Luo man as a cartoon. Iyudo kani there's an insistence on the men protecting not the women and children, the institutions of the culture. The men protect the institutions of the culture. They nurture institutions of the culture. Good kineno chapter 2 ilongo, but chapter 2 subtopic 1 ilongo the training grounds. The training grounds. Kuma I realize it is the culture called institutions na ema loso Lwanda Magere. Nyama no mean the man kata in form of masculinity and a strategy for the culture to perpetuate itself. Tongisin through these institutions, ngisi kaka the culture inculcate itself into the individual. Kechineno process moneno ka en kaka the culture itself kako donjo osore ichuny Lwanda kata ipache. The first chapters kiwe story ne kirange the story of the society. Nikech ento wan ng'eyo kaka unless ng'ani o change kineno odhi bedo hero moro mok tho kaka wang'eye, but key core of the society idwa neno as a mirror of the society. Nikech story ni iyudo ga ni society iketo ga out. Lwanda Magere is naturally strong, alafu odhi to fight, alafu tho. There's no part makoro the society ngiso, and there was this part makatgolo other people like him, Majuma, Kofi, you go through those institutions, emokelo the bond of friendship. Okay, friendship out of friendship. Okay, friendship out of liking each other. Okay, no moro beneok giher at the beginning, but friendship. So kata institutions go emanyalo, ka institutions go strong, miyo joma go through these institutions give you that friendship. So mentors, what do you question George? The first tool minyalo migi is a healthy society. Nkech everyone mineno Lwanda protects the society, nkech the society is a healthy society to me so much. Or me identity enena nok giwache explicit lakini George realize ni jogi ne wuoyo to ng'ise to kaka nowacho about kaka nimi ng'ato nying, kaka niluongo ng'ato gokinyi, ineno the process katiyo. Tineno, give me so much of this, of a healthy society grow, that he has a choice but to grow. Only choice but to grow. Because the society thrive so much. And institutions
So to support is so much.
Yes, but the society itself is healthy. You don't teach Kakanya, don't teach Abongo, his father. Teach Ima Luo. Maso, Lwanda Magare bedo manifestation of jogite, not of his own one, of jogite. And what every time what man in a strategy of the society, in a culmination of the society, or can this his own characteristics? He should be caring and loving. Mago cartoons. And the manifestation of the society, and it start to perpetuate itself. Itself. Nikechi neno, odi to work nikechi mano. Obedo selfless nikechi reflect the whole society. Because this is self and the society. George Gimomio, that is him. Jawa machon, ne wacho ni ntie kuma ngato gafore. Kidwa eternal life, ntie kuma yudo eternal life. So for Jaluo said that the place minyalo yudo eternal life is in the consciousness of your society. Now, as long as society is living, you will last forever. But as long as your society is failing, you will not last forever. Because your efforts did not amount to your society. So until that element in a very big part of the society, in a manifestation of what it is. Okay, together in a manifestation of Guinea. So ongeka society nipo bedo unhealthy. To ibedo a healthy individual with all these skills and all this education and which characteristics will help you survive in 2026 and gimago cartoonishness. Which the thing that makes you a large percentage of you is dying. Reaffirm his identity and Mabobedo interest. Is a society in that strong. But then the first tools Minya Lomia society is vibrant and has a focus to Dikamoro. Especially bonds, institutions umanyalo donjo, like the training grounds. Gin kanyo, Lwanda moloso. Gin kanyo, they have been there. They've always been there. To institutions gin different. Tie kumantie kata training grounds, tie kumantie forest. Tie kumantie this. Alafu ko biro you don't tie a routine mimi ya. Some routines and some behaviors and some ways of your make attend to the world. So Maggie, you don't Maggie tools makonye exist. Okay, strength no. Kodibedo Lwanda madigere. Kodibedo Lwanda madigero gimoro. Na kubed code foundation. So building Dichuo cows so much resources of the society. A lot. Kido mess up Dichuo, mess up his society. Just mess up his society. Iyude nege chon. Before Kato realize ni nege is a nege chon. Georgia duok nigo kapugo gine.
Yeah, awinjo gimiwacho na. Iwacho ni for Lwanda to have managed to be the person Magero, society mano obet in mano obede onyuole to odonge nen society ma onge chop chachni. It was a very absorbing society, very calm, kendo nong'e gima gitimo gi young men. Koro it was about it was a structure manobedo built within Lwanda Magere, but the structures that were helping him build himself also were very strong and very grounded. To unlike now, Sani, I think the reason why I'm connecting this story Malwanda to now for people to understand why I'm so concerned with connecting it. Lwanda Magere could have been a myth, but we can't just throw it was a myth and so what? It was a myth that was meant to be used nikech en ng'ama iwacho ne en ng'ama ne kata kochwo ichwoye gi tong to tong ibandra bana. So we grew up as young Luo men wanting to be like Lwanda Magere. So I'm connecting it to the current. And so Lwanda had a totally different society from what we have now, because now we are surrounded, our young men and women unfortunately are surrounded by noise, social media, peer pressure, economic frustration, and that noise, they mistake visibility for value. So but Nyando's mentorship reminds us that the true guidance, it's often quiet, intentional, that is key, and deeply personal. And I think it focuses on most of the things we've been talking about here, especially not here in Lwanda's story, but Katamananyoro, a mentorship program. There is identity, but but Luanda and Nyando reminds us that identity comes before performance. So Nyando helped Luanda understand who he was before what he could do. That is identity. So a modern Luo man must not rush into providing through money, relationships, or dominance without identity, because I believe success becomes unstable when we do this. Then we talked about discipline over impulse. Luanda's strength was controlled. Today, many young men are reacting rather than responding, whether it's relationship, it's anger, ambition. So mentorship must train emotional regulation. Lwanda did it very well. Nyando did it very well with Lwanda. So it's not just physical or financial ambition. It must be. You must know how to regulate your emotions. And lastly, we were talking about responsibility. So it should be responsibility over recognition. Lwanda fought for his people. Whether Lwanda was a myth or what, he fought for his people, not for applause. In contrast, today's culture rewards attention. A mentored man learns that purpose is greater than popularity. So that is the reason why I'm connecting this Luanda story with modernity, because we have to tap from it. And that's where I was coming with the weapons. So these are the weapons that we need now: identity, discipline, and responsibility. We don't have a shield anymore. There is no physical war to fight. I give it back. I give it back to you, Rama.
interesting. To nti kama gingi saw something very interesting. Kama you do the shield. Kisene no picture ma shield ma jolu. It's very, very interesting. Gingi shield ma cover the body. It's a very interesting. Kisene no kata picture ma chon ma jolu mane wazungo go gi picture. The format is very interesting. Very, very interesting. But Sani, in this sense, about something symbolic. Something symbolic. Called inoculation. Inoculation. Antivirus. Shield modi you the forest no antivirus. But kaka obiro in a dream okuongo. Kaka odi you there. Kaka odi you there forest. Or you there after one search. The last time no chopoga kama the society, the culture, the society, the culture koro. Okay, the society and the culture be okay, the same thing. The culture bit the hero. Ma protect from everything. Omi a very stable perspective of life. Marinyalo compare. For example, just stable foundation kakamano. Tinyalo identify kangato riambo. Katakanga to confuse things. A robust culture, me mano. A very culture, me mano. Omi some perspectives kakano acho iginecha. Nediang matunge kabar. Kayude kweth. Gama loso ngama tungene kabar. Interesting. Chopo kama symbolize the culture called shield. From a lot of weapons. Nkechi you do gimomi wadonjo history no the shield division mentane nyando. Oknepunji only about martial strategy. His knowledge of the philosophy of Luo was deep. Through this learning. And when you're in and on Lwanda, the mentor is very deep in these things. One is the other structure. Okay? The mentor is very deep in the culture and the structures of the culture. And Kichinga Makelo, Ngama realize needs bedo mentored code Nyando. Ngama process no. Ena bonyo. And the father. Okay, Lwanda kata Lwanda himself does or understand the need ngatoka ka Nyando. But Nyando ng'eyo abonyo ng'eyo Nyando is the best nikech situations tuma manyalo is kata en above. Tabonyo no awinjo no boss a hero. It's praise nikech accomplishments make in protecting the society be gain platinum plated and Gima is sure. There's no guesswork. Korema wachon kata George as they go through this process. Mentors go benyaka their accomplishments nyaka bed sure. Nyaka bed sure. And joma be proven. Sure. Kila ngato manyalo mentor the people. I wacho many times, especially Gen Z is interesting. Ntie characteristic moro ma Gen Z ntie goma, which I really like. Ne? Oki accomplish gidwaro. Wachni, ka in your own life, oki accomplish ki modu accomplish to ko winji.
Very interesting, yes.
Ok owinji. Ji mang'eny ok oherogi. Giwacho ni gin very difficult. But the environment ose transform gi ok en mbaka. Oneno G-Wagon. Oneno Audi. Ok en mbaka. Odwaro Audi. Odwa ni ng'ise kaka onyalo chopo kanyo boyud Audi. Clear. Man, something I like about them so much. Time for nonsense. All this preachy yakiangoa. Gionge time. Emomiyo ok gidhi kata kanisa. A lot of them ok dhi kanisa. Nikech ng'ato preach to them heaven ma en pok odhi boduogo. Nitie characteristic ma gin go very nice. Gihero gin very pragmatic. Wach gimoro kaka
kanyo kar kanisa ka vin nitiere gi wach. Taparo moth vin dak achiel gimiwachono is very important ni especially bring in that Gen Z issue, the Gen Z's issue. Nikech kar mentorship kanyo, and you've mentioned it, it's perfectly said. Nikech they must choose mentors intentionally. People like Nyando. Because not just follow those who are ahead of him. Taparo mane miwacho, just ahead of him in age and lifestyle. Gen Zs don't just follow you because you are ahead of them in age. In fact, they don't believe in that anymore. Because not every older man is a mentor. Some are simply older boys with experience. So yeah, I just wanted that's key. Give me watch on it's quite, and you've connected it to Gen Zs, which is really interesting. Yes, Vincent. Kar kanisa ka inigewach.
Ing'eyo gimomiyo gino bedo mora niwach loya moro yande openjo ikot kes mar Mackenzie kopenjo ni to ng'ato wacho ni polo oprove na ni jogo ok odhi polo mawacho ni enyewe ochopo kama koro odoro nyaka ochopo kama koro kiwachnwa ni polo koro wadwaro evidence ni idhi polo kata ok idhi polo, ok wach ni polo to iwacho ni amen. Koro ochopo kama weche tek. Awinjo gima JK wacho ni in fact gino lead to some of the things ma wasekabedo kwa wuoyo from men talk. It's very good we have these things and we can relate so many things both ways, both from the men talk and even from the story itself. Like wasekabedo kwa wuoyo about kata mana education gi mentorship. Actually mentorship was when we looked at people like how what gave birth to education makuru formal education makuru people call education sani in gisani. Most people, of course we redefined it, but most people will see education the first thing mabiri patch in this school, and we know mentorship emano give birth to that kind of education makuru wan go sani ma per kabisa ni wan get this thing to because then people really valued mentorship and apprentices ama internship kind of ma i-trainee bedo molded into something not by awachni some miracles or something ma is out of control. Ibe nyalo bedo anything. You have to go through a process. Then a process ma is well defined. Ing'eyo gimidwaro, people will take kata ni when you'll be trained gi ng'ama ong'eyo, and people will fight over because we know wang'eyo ni even Alexander the Great, people will fight over ng'ama train their child, especially koponi child nigi potential kata community no nigi potential. There are so many things more involved. Koro mentorship kirango gi kata gi story ni girango kara moth ne wacho ni wuon gi Abonyo bende no say accomplish what he could, but pod no allow his son Magare Lwanda to be trained by Nyando. Niso Nyando no or probably chopo level ma and won't know or appreciate kendo o yego ni is beyond maybe kimonyalo timo for better no or for the benefit of Lwanda Magere no miyo Nyando mondo mentor mane gima temelewa gi gima Ramoth temo wacho ma make na sense kendo make sense kendo kane owuoyo kata about mentorship wacho ni dware ni wakawe more seriously than kaka wakawe sani. Yeah, mano ber kabisa. Koro gima an nowuok na bende ma is really interesting. Ne wasewacho chien kanyo, but it's really interesting. To end question, my again to me is one of the most outstanding questions to work from this. It's like Lwanda Magere was built from the environment, society, community, everybody, and even people and a community, and was built as a community and not as so not possessing some supernatural. Neni nyuole teno sebedo kidi, kore en kidi. En gamo bedo training, ngamo through a process. So it's really interesting. Man, it's not even the most. I know, of course, that is very, very interesting. And actually, a nene kabuno for me, I never knew that. But I don't. Mano mi have been lead to penjo moko mang'eny. For example, nito ka en ngama no bedo trained to ntie so many things mano through. And this story is told in different ways. Ni ne Lwanda Magere kendo ne supernatural powers. No nyalo lokre kidi, no nyalo keto ne tekono ne ni tipone. Yes, story ni bad, but Angmomi is told differently. Manabe is really interesting. I don't know what be one kamano. Let's say ni an in wabedo build maybe accumulate or chopo he accomplish something. Skills, knowledge, training, mi chopo level makoro in ngama nane no kati remrona the was it one thing podonga ipata nyaka sani you can actually train more kinyal ngadi go panga. Somebody told us that, of course, motivational, but not actually through training, you'll achieve level of training. Manaka kwa neno Bruce Lee, you bandem. Oknacho no nyalungodi go panga, but this person believed ninyalo train to an extent. Tinta sani painting mulon weka mawe. It's really, yeah, don't take man. Ninyalo train to a level makurunga to nyalo weka mawe to ki winch lit makawaida. Ami train makuro panga kanga to temu ngadi go to ngadi kakanyalo ngado everybody else, like the skin is trained kamano. To ango miyo ngato kunyiso this person, for example, let's say an abedo trained to a level makuro okanyal ngada go panga. Kata mana let's say ni abedo trained to a level makuro nyalo wuoyo an eloquence mara ni malo kabisa. Ka wacho gimoro to everybody wacho ni yes. To bedo trained tango miyo kedo ka ji wacho stocha in the next 50 years to beni ji wacho ni ana okipolo to ne okawuo kata gi dhoga, maybe na wuoyo mana to speaker moro work somewhere else or whatever way magid wacho this story kar wacho ni this person went through this training and it was a process. Why is it don't you think it's very interesting ni iwacho na ni en tekonen mani inini to ne dende ne kidi kata ne spear ok nyal kale to tekonen mani chiplo. It's really interesting. Ang'o miyo ok nyiswa ni no train to ne a community general like initiative and deliberate effort mar training ng'ato to that level and it happened ne Lwanda Magere. Unu nene nadi? It's really interesting.
Kapuka again, in case one question maber zaidi.
Question no ber to Vin. Inge fundi bao. Fundi bao majana sare. Eno bende no nyuole mana gi teko mar Roho Mtakatifu. Nene en wuod Nyasaye. To kendo bendo puonjere mana bao kacha Jerusalem. Ibi penjo gan to Jerusalem bende gima maber nyaloki. What am I saying? I'm saying ni these things sometimes make you think ni kata mana Yesu bende karanyalo bedo ne en myth nikech obende exactly mana kaki wacho. Lwanda Magere ni stories wacho ni en mana kidi. Ng'ama nyalo menta kidi, ng'ama nyalo nyiso kidi ni kae kaki gori, donge en kidi en odhi adhia e lweny nikech onge gima bro time. To jafundi bao cha bende kaka neno wache en obedo ti ogo mana randa gini kacha to kendo bang'e to dum mana gi buombe kodhi polo ka Nyasaye. Koro weche ariyo Ramotha weni.
Wacha ni fundi wa mbao iranda.
Yeah, seremala.
Question no ber ya. Mi aparo wer moro ni nimependwa na fundi wa mbao. Tek. Mane timre time wa. My matimoga insist George ni ki understand ni history marwa kaka joluo and condition mo antie. Ibo realize gimomiyo these concepts change. If for dominance, no freedom. Don't get freedom. We lose it. Okay. Samangato chako define the meaning of your words. You're not anymore free. Or control everything you do and how you understand the world. I mean example. Kwana kwa pukwa chopi Lwanda. Mondinge gimomi Lwanda, the story also had to change. Mondo insert a certain script. Words kaka Nyasaye. Words kaka worth. Before Rome got to this religious mindset, Ruoth nene na Ruoth, then Ruoth, then King. Finish. Koron kech jogi duang isin authority marwa. Ogidwa bedo dhano. Giwacho one authority marwa owuok from somewhere where you cannot question. Nkech kiwacho no, okay, this is a normal human experience ata dominated, then I can change the situation. But isani, my right over you is divinely inspired. Nyasaye mo wachona kawi. I have to change in your mind, nyaka change your sense of authority, nyaka lock gigibed ni abstract. That is the only way manyalo rule. In case ka wacho ka change your definitions of the words to me this abstraction to kibi question. Kech king isan ruoth Nyasaye kiwacho ni ruoth mokongo kiwacho ni ruoth wacho ni inone gibed boya in penyna. Tangisi ni ruoth that time kata sani wacho ni ruoth ouda. Was what they were paying ruoth ouda King's Court. To by chance inego ruoth ouda. Koro wacho Nyasaye mongisa ni tim gini. Mano is always necessary because okidwa expand arms, idwa kito okidwa di for every time. Prolonged war makes sense. Obedo lose. Kata jomidwa dominate kinego them. So what is the purpose now dominate? Ibo dotinga. So nyaki change their concepts of things. Nyasaye, ruoth, and all these things. Because the word Nyasaye comes from Sayo. And Ngamisayo. The Luo idea of life, Ngamisayo is not there. There is no position like this. So Nyakobedi introduced into the culture. All domination team with words. Not with force, Mokongo. But effective is with words. So even the stories, Nikechi, their makeup, the story is expressed through words. Nyaki change the story. Nyaki change the story. I want to run on that script. Kiketo Lwanda side by side with Raila, it's the same script. Kiketo Lwanda with some Kouko, Kiketo Lwanda and Mboya, it's the same script. Ichako Kikete ko Jaramogi, it's the same script. The culture operates. Amomi any loop ma entie. Kobo, the more mobo medo beti this script. to bobet matek momine bin penjon, but he was trained, meaning this position ma Lwanda madhigere ama Lwanda magedo ama Lwanda migedo iwiye en position mosebet for a long time. So komata ken one person en position marikaga in every generation nyaka bedintie lwendni midhi gedo iwigi ama lwendni mibo tigo gedo kaka foundation. But kidwa ni jogi obed effective to nyaka change story no ing'isgi ni joman gi position ni gin gi supernatural powers kaka pastors ang'o iketo gi imams, Buddhist priest, iketo gi that level mondo ikat off jominyalo train. Kik ing'eni inyalo chopo that position by achievements kod effort ma in go and these resources manyalo make i achieve that onyuoli kodgi. Nikech in dhano onyuoli kodgi. So this is nyaka time mane wachopo kuma wabet dominated. Kata kapok wachopo kod wazunge kata kapok wachopo kod waislamu, waarabu, whatever you want to call them. Kata time ma Medes, Persians, we had this same problem. This same problem. Nikech ka gidwa dominate to go prolonged war, nyaka gilog kakuparo about yourself. To mar ariyo, nyaka gikaw potential maru. Consciousness mano explain last time cha. Consciousness ma en power maduong'. Nyaka girang kaka ginyalo diye. Mondo userve gimodwaro. Ok inyal be your natural mindset tibed servant. Ok timre. Nyako inculcate the servant mentality into you. To otiyo with your stories and your words. Kiketo all the leaders who do praising, kiketo side by side. Kod Lwanda Magare script. Come out clear. Kata moro mane onegno wach Saba. We will call nyinge. Same great things, Saba, innovative technology, but the end enango. Same script. Kila society run on a script. One is the operating system in the consciousness. Marwa oketwa i that, emomeno wacho onge freedom. To go in the same loop. Kata modhi boso. No, onge transfer to the society at all. Because there are certain characteristics man kanyo. Lwanda en supernaturally obiro supernaturally. Emomiyo I like insist gimoro nwa riek. Because kiriek to onge you have no claim to the society. No nyuoli go. Society konyi nade. So in an individual nikech isomoga bugno kendi. Succeed kendi. Koro yonge responsibility to the society nikech ok isomo bugno kodi in tandem. We kata that university bed can opportunity ma the school and catch your society before you emanos for you to have that opportunity. Ntie jou mano the street botto. Kino ginyono school. Gito mondo ini donje school. Gito on the street mondo ini use that profession. But in your own profession no, and you are right. Okay. No new it is more book to the same. The same script in another Jomoko the school. Same script. Katakoko som. Same script. Kore onge away ma prove nan individual. So obo yudo the most drastic way. Obo prove no be an individual. characteristic kaka mare maonge responsibility to the community nikech o blame the community puonje nokomiye the privileges nikech o exist oko be exact himself kata just personal lifelong learning onge oko bikawo responsibility ma learn for the society nikoro okay ani position ma I have to study even more nikech aonge structure momiya ready made nyaka study more nikech now I'm more in tune with the problems of society tanyalo solve them on the ground without okobikawo mano the same script nikech Lwanda nobiro supernaturally anaonge supernatural abilities okanyal timo and the general ability ma chal ni nitie en the school nikech kila ng'ato wacho ni mano ema transform ji. The verdict is still out there nikech giwacho ni government onge mano ema noketo Gen Z street, so a large part manoketo Gen Z street and gisomo to onge opportunities gintie because they were born. Kochako kata go at governance and about opportunities make teach. So mano emomiyo story no nyaka change. Story no nyaka change nikech ibedo dominated a servant. The system ni. System ma wantie ni en mana those two roles. En gi masters called servants. To mondo system no work, nyaka bed gi many servants. The masters nyaka bed very few. But servants gi nyaka gibed with many classes. Ntie educated servants, ntie uneducated servants, ntie very skilled servants, ntie unskilled servants. But neno gino is such a problem nikech waparo ni wan free. To mabiro ma is very interesting biro history ma Lwanda ni nikech ineno sama mentally Nyando mie the whole perspective of what is happening, what has happened before. Iwacho kani wacho ni kadung'o wacho ni Lwanda's man played a crucial role in his training. Nyando was always there, offering personalized advice and correcting lower techniques. Each move, blah, blah, blah. Nyando shared stories of past battles, teaching Lwanda the strategies that had worked for him. These stories were filled with valuable lessons. No komie mana military training. No mere the training about the culture and the history of the culture, kama culture uchope. Not only battle. Majority of one waunge mano. Atiuga with a simple example, Kajan. What is the story? But that is not the whole thing, but just that. Simple Gimoroka mano. Whether it's true or not. Everyone has theirs. What is yours? So, Mano, to make it short, the story had to be changed. I mean, I totally outside the example, Manoto. Oko resonate. Kiswahili mawacho Kenya. And Kiswahili mawacho ni kiugunja. Kiswahili mawacho ilongo ni kiugunja. Kiswahili ma kiugunja ni no bio for a very specific purpose. Jomano kelo Kiswahili ni gin en Wajerumani. Nikech Wajerumani ne dwaro language ma nikech wan gi different languages mano wacho kuche kambango. No dwaro one language ma onyalo wacho kodu to winje but okodwa learn German. Koro kata widespread language okay nikech of the coast and Swahili negikele because of that nikech negikole Tanzania. So at that time Kenya ne protectorate be ma jogo. So ne gitiyo gi yie ba gi spread the language kamano. Mondo kaka wacho gani majority of ji matiyo nwa hindi. Majority of wahindi dwaro ng'e Kiswahili but onge chieng' ma gibo puonj ki hindi. To gibo puonjre nyaka dholuo but in gibo make sure no onge chieng' ni gibo ng'e ki hindi. Kata joma otiyo kanyo for many years hindi. Kata Kisumu kacha yudo joluo manyalo wacho ki hindi and for me osebedo matek. To ji osedak kanyo kod wahinde for years, thousands but many years. Venni dwa wacho nade?
Yeah, aparo ni mano make sense sana. Mano make sense. Kabisa. Yeah, gima kore is interesting. En mana ni how it came again. That's really interesting because kirango joma ne wacho stories gi, mane nyisowa stories gi, and especially, but I think that will make sense, especially kiwacho ni stories gi no watch gi schools, mano will make more sense. But it's really again interesting sana ng'eyo ni nyaka kwadewa ne wacho no mana story ni kaka ni okay, maybe ano ko nyal compare and contrast. But how people came more harmonized, makoro giwacho this is the version. Ma version ni, does it also mean ni version misomi school ni is different from the version one kaka joluo one go? Kose wabende wa hold mana ni to koponi wa hold the same version. To what happened in between the original version story, Mando na Magare kamubedo trained and all that processes may encourage obedo story ma interesting sana mohingo kata kokete ni koro nene na supernatural powers ma kiongo powers to onge giminyalo timo, you are helpless inedo yieri ni luonge ni divine kind of call or selection ma kopo ni uyongo kode to iongo kode. For example, yomi kata inwango Yesu moro ng'en koro tek because machane en wuod Nyasaye. Kose wach ni mano wuod Nyasaye to osetieki ni wachi obviously samoro ok en wuod Nyasaye ama kose wach ni mane en gima Nyasaye moyiero. It's very hard to question ni wache maber kabisa, but koro interest na kendo biro mana kisewache kamano mo make sense to me, but kendo interest na dugo who told this story, because that is when we know, or when we are going to know, or when we will know ni mane gima notimre. But it's really interesting. No chiri gikwere wa bende makendo gichako ginyisowa to kendo ginyiso mana version ma sim ni benefit mana master moro kamoro. Koro it's interesting, but yeah, mana winjo kabisa.
Eneno vin kapok waketo gini watieke en gigi te is very kinge Luo history kata in Kenya and East Africa is very explainable and very explainable. Majority of jomo luongo ni kweregi, jogi jomo have grown up in the church. Weche juogi ne giweyo a long time ago. A large percentage of kwere mo yudo kata sani korgo, these are Christians. Majority of gik mane gineno ama bene giyudi school. Majority of them, okay, to them, gin nonsense. In nonsense. A me practical example. Ang'o miyo Lejo nomiye nyinge Lejo Maria? Ang'o miyo en gi the same script as Christianity, ma Nyasaye to ma wood Mary to ma, and this to gigi you don't this dini gigi ng'eny. Joano obedo joluo chon sana, majority of before majority ne gikawo religions gi nikech ne after a long time nikech last time kono wacho slavery ma itero joluo on East African side was longer, no last longer. To negi choose joma skilled kaka nyando ema negi dhi after. To negi nego a lot of these people and a lot of these people not they. Koro negi, especially recently, majority of chiefs negi njomo I church. The reason for that nika mzungu no biro no waro the record, but being nen machine gun no so many Luos. Time Moron was some story from the book of Adera Kango. Tine know these numbers. No negiji this number here. No negiji this number ka. No negiji this number siaya. The numbers are there. Joluo. So Sechimoku don't know negiji 600 the one village. Then massacre thoroughly. Jomano dong nen Nintendo. Majority of Nintendo ginoso gi kanisa. Most were orphans. Alaf kendo negi demand around 30,000 on a lower side to 50,000 Luos after the defeat Neymand Magi Chako Terogimo Masa Nairobi. Kamane kaka Joluo donjo in these places. Azongene dwaro porters. Matingo gik moko make rail and everything. So after the defeat Negi insist conditions of peace nyaka wagolji. Manoko happened to other people as such. Catch one fierce. Then Luwen thoroughly. Komusungu nen Luwen thoroughly. Kodmo Arabu nen Luwen thoroughly. Okay, jogi kineno example malo and then we believe in defending our space to exist. So majority of Ntindo Gimano do neonge giminya no team code. So majority of them no teri the church. Majority gibedo grown up by the church. To kanyemo ochak puonj gi kakiloko gigi sai nikech sama sanok giwach English gin gikia English kia gigi ginge dholuo. Koti transform kanyo to en miore kose transfer the Nyasaye. You unleash. So majority of Jomo Yudogi, majority of them gin Jomo bedo raised the kanisa. Namomios religions kakade jokabiro to be attached to it very fast. Kech mano dong mane baba mane mama. Mane mami achie mama no every. So kanyema podwantie. Mano kanyema podwantie. Kata sani kidhi yudo ng'at mantie 90s, 80s. Majority boy don't the thing they do. Samagiri relax and they kanisa. Man is the highlight of their day or their week. So what about Jalu is a very scarce resource. Very rare. For a long time. I am every time Kineno Jogi Kagiwacho modernity is to turn back on Luo. Mano kochako nyoro, kochako 1960s or kochako 1920s. Where the script must can go on. Akakiwinja Vin.
Yeah, awinji maber.
Ataka George nyalo medo kanyo. George.
An kamedo to kora medo manaka gigima ma has been a proper learning. I think chapter no was very now it makes sense. Vincent was like strategy. Actually, you would love to know what strategy was there, but I think in strategy we've learned a lot. Wapuonjre mang'eny kabisa Ramoth, and okay, chapter 2 now, especially part my strategy no, or shift us from strength to strategy. To kanye ma mentorship either becomes transformative or it remains shallow. Moro mi wacho ni Gen Z ok dwar cha. Ma shallow cha Gen Z ok dwar. Ma transformative gidwaro nikech they identify with that. Wacho ni gidwaro gineno Audi, gidwaro Audi. Gineno Mercedes, gidwaro Mercedes no. So in finishing and koro kati go raja manani the spear also has to and it symbolized precision. Okay, it was not just a weapon. It symbolized precision, patience, and intentional action. A spear is not just swung widely; it is aimed, measured, and released at the right moment. That is the deeper lesson ma learned from here. Koro moving forward, especially kaka wasai wachoni, it is so good that this thing has been connected to lessons mawango or series mag mentorship mawango. So we have to move forward with the strategy also to our kids, and I would call to our the people the mentees that we are mentoring, and I would call them 5 strategic weapons. Number 1, weapon of clarity, mental direction. Number 2, the weapon of emotional intelligence. Number 3, the weapon of skill and competence. Number 4, the weapon of discipline. And number 5, the weapon of critical thinking. But here is the truth. We must not avoid this because we are living in the 21st century in the year 2026. Many young men today are carrying weapons they did not choose. Trauma, anger, entitlement, and confusion. These are not weapons of victory. They are weapons of self-destruction. So mentorship must therefore do 2 things in finishing. It must disarm what is harmful and equip what is useful. What is useful. So the modern Luo man does not need a sharper spear. He needs a sharper mind, a steadier heart, and a disciplined life. Because in today's world, the most dangerous man is not the one who can fight, but the one who can think, control himself, and act with precision. That's how I can finally paraphrase what we just learned and what are reading. That section is out of this world. Thank you.
Vin Kawe. Welcome.
Yeah, erokamano maduong'. Aparo ni be watieko tika niwach pod wan gi aparo ni kawuono be time ne wadwaro really bedo very conscious about time ma aparo ni be wasetemo. Koro dwa mana luwore to discussion bende osebedo maber, penjo gi duoko oromo ka gi kacha kendo piny ber kabisa. An bende koro ka atieka, aonge weche mang'eny. Nitie so many thing ma kawuono a learn mang'eny kabisa. Gik mang'eny sana from Lwanda Magere, koro kendo siri mar Lwanda Magere kendo anene mana gi lenses mopogre, angle mopogre matin. Kendo yawo wang'a mang'eny. Koro aparo ni chapter ni, as much as the last chapter ne miwa very introduction kendo very good overall view of the story, but I think this chapter is giving us a slightly different perspective, especially of the known, maybe me, but I think also most of us, story ni niwach wanene mopogre. Koro maber kabisa kendo was really eye opening. Gima neno en role ma mentorship play life mar gero legends. Okagitimre atima. There's so many things that are involved in gero legends, which is really interesting kendo I think timely, considering spaces maran some other times. Koro for jok mani Facebook, jok mani YouTube, jok mani X space, apparently some of you may we do run some of the spaces. To ka you don't know to on Wednesday one gi spaces ma we about man talk ma we about kaka wanyalo gero joma chuo kata jaluo madichuo mobed man in the modern kata jaluo masani. Kawa compare and contrast so many things, including jaluo manene chon gi gik manyalo timo sani. Koro koponi sega bedo kimis mano to you can be joining us. Not really, this will make even more sense koponi winjo that talk. Mar ariyo, this story omiya change of mind na from just ng'eyo ni Lwanda Magere ne en ng'ama ne ogwel gi Sam Juogi mane ogwele to wacho ni in koro pi ibet nwa igori ni jaluo to somebody ma obedo build kendo that reflect kata nyingo ok ang'eyo ni that's exactly what the name reflects but at least nyiso ni ok en gima wango go power. We have the power to build Lwanda Magere gi sani. Mano is really, to me, that is very, very, very important. Moro kendo malan en ni which is still connected to the second one ni wanyalo gero Lwanda masani, but we need to redefine a few things. Mana kaka most of us osewacho ka wang'eyo ni nitie gik mang'eny mane dware kendo mane Lwanda Magere nodhi through. It's really eye-opening kabisa. Kendo mogik to bende ma muhimu sana kabisa en ni Lwanda Magere ne ko bedo built in isolation. No bedo built through community support. And interesting again, council. Not when people like Juma, people like even Nyando, when they provide both council advice and other things, and we even community as a whole, nature, other than just provision, matter support, chiema and other things, they could give even moral support. Can they give support? Can they watch negi work together? Negi lead together? But I hope negi kanentie lweny negi gore, negi lose together, negi win together, negi do so many things together. You know, negi compete together. To negi bedo even common at some point, a common enemy where they, and we see how common enemies also a uniting factor. Kata people man divergent opinion to watch on okay, wapogre, but this is what we want. Mapenda reflect that current now when you watch Gen Z. My reflect ni Gen Z might have divergent opinion or anybody else, but the uniting factor. So we can forgo kata forget opinion wamupogre to wa unite towards a common goal. Ma ema no build Lwanda Magere. And not in isolation, but through cooperation, support, and then it was very intentional and a legacy project. And Lwanda Magere, but it was a legacy project. Momio, wachopo kendo luodong kata joludong kaka a legacy. Mondiko record koro encourage from the story. No one encourage ourselves. No one get Lwanda Magere kendo wane gimo nyalo poro from the story gisani. Aparo ni mane gima nyalo wacho kendo this is really interesting. It seems every day nitie gima interesting sana to mami waduoko penjo moko to mi wapenjre penjo mang'eny mohingo mwaduoko. Koro ber kabisa.
Nan vina nyalo mana wacho erokamano koro kata kilore to bera kose George.
Vin koro lore alora paro ni warom kendo next Thursday kawa timo the wasomo the next chapters, but Ramoth erokamano ahinya. Today was quite interesting. Apparently, the more we dwell deep into the book, the more it's becoming interesting for me. Thank you so much, Ramos. Thank you so much, Vin. Thank you, Jogo. Do tomorrow, Iwaro. Chaka. Bro, bedo mamit mbele kamolo. Ero ur kamano.
George kapok atieko to jogi bodhi Amazon gi support ng'ani. Gi support kamano dano chogoronje.
Yeah, gi support. Yep. Nyieuru bugini. Mano ba paron ber ni kare. Koro kwa somo ni kama to kendo koro ichaki some ni wuon te. Koro iwinjo maber.
Ntindi boso me.
Yeah.
Akia ok no miwa gimoro but nyaka support jowabe.
Kamano. Ayiego. Bas, anatieko Vin koro. Koro kachaka wacho mo. Abolo right fundi bao.
Erokamano do anena Kela Junior wacho ni thank you so much guys my polo. Kirango screen kanyi bro nene mana Kela Junior. Mano en Hilary Gondi YouTube no wacho ni great. Koro ber kabisa. Aparo ni mano an agoyo kamano ni Ramoth GK kuom telonwa i lero kata analyze kata keto go tai book ma kawuono mar kata mosebedo wigni mar Lwanda Magere kata mosebedo kuom ndalo mokalo. Erokamano maduong' ne George kuom bedo kendo konyo yo makagi kacha itayo budho ka wadhiro GK wadhiro GK ka wasire kagi kacha to watemo kolo i book mar Lwanda Magere ni. Erokamano kabisa. Erokamano.
Kikido gichieno mina chieng' jiri to tinga Okeo joko jala makawili magunga chiko tura Yama jotura Tanzania yeuromna Pole sana mtoto wa Kasai. Era kweli kile wale moja kwa bwana. Winjo men Kora chiko kanye Kilian kora penjo duoko men Ane ngama bayo kod rumba Kodi nyire pinka Tia los kinga kawili Koth kongujo seka Kosa penje yama Uganda gyoduokwa e Martin Yama jotura Tanzania oduoknwa e penjo no Kosa nyiso yama josambia nyornwa e kony Mosa kwaya yama Ethiopia gi jo Zimbabwe ne kanye Ja Amerika un kodesia ye ukony piny Piny dhi ariwa jo Ulaya msinga tieko piny Tinga jio pako Tinga pako Magunga Pini di ari kendo unibedo neno nyithiwa. An kora penjo joka juda gi odokwa emae. An gima loso to uchayo kendo wite taka. Karuchiko kanye joka jwangi kamuchiko katanakia. Uye uwinj wachni madongo kiko bede kasigana. Namdaro maria jokeigi kotko ginga juma.
Mano Dio Misiani wacho ni piny dhi ariwa otame to penjo yawa ma Uganda, yawa ma Tanzania, yawa ma South Sudan, yani Dio Misiani nigi penjo mang'eny, penjo ng'eny mana kaka wan be kawakolo wach Lwanda Magere to penjo bedo mang'eny kendo bedo mamit miwuoro. Aparo ni Dio Misiani loronwa ka wagonu erokamano mang'eny. Koro ni jogo mani space, X-Space, bedo ng'ado kanyo space didong'ie, kini online, YouTube, Facebook, to aparo ni wadhi lore machiegni, but kata kamano erokamano kuom riwri kodwa kawuono, kane wakolo wach mar Lwanda Magere, kendo osebedo session maber kabisa, bedo session maber ma weche mang'eny, weche meg rieko kalo kagi kacha. Erokamano mang'eny kabisa.
Chachien marangongo nyoto fado to kod gibimbe koda jokonge. Apimnu engero mopondo to enigi mutimo un kendu. Gisi mari bini ndara ng'engini gima kelo masinje. Yendo nego kukuma kounga ratengo min mboya. Geje tieko ya joka jwangi ye unge utenga. Amono uwedo ganda uweja lego pur no eturaka. Chachien marangongo nyoto neno dojo no enamwani. Lumpie na watauli kech donje pinka. Red mayande konyo joka jwangi namdar godo. Namdate ya jokenyo ye ugo kanye. Tia los nenga kawili ye upimnwa.
Akini winjo Dio Misiani. Dio Misiani wacho weche ma tekra gi ng'eny. Nyeuru tinga, to wacho ni rech mayande konyowa koro, rech koro kendo lal. Ng'ato timre nade gi rech jokanyanam.
Amola mino buru chumo kego ne ahi. Rate wa mina gola.
Kata kamano, gima nigi chakruok ne nyaka bed gi gikone, koro walore koro gima nigi chak bende mitne en bedo gi gikone kamano. Koro beruru kabisa, gonu erokamano ni welo ma kawuono kotelne gi Ramoth, owadwa George, Jakom Hillary, agonu erokamano mang'eny. Koro orituru kendo Ruoth, kata Nyasaye, kata juogi, kata Allah, kakilame kakinene, mondo ritnau kendo ubed gi otieno odiechieng' maber kabisa. Erokamano mang'eny.
Tinga ine ng'ama puro. Ye konyo ganda wuonya lego kech ni e piny. Gari nyoja kwambo kod fujo miwang'e tinga. Ya majo tura e jokegi ye ufad tinga.